Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time for Brian. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, reactions, reviews, re-reviews, randomness, owl blueness, or whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. It could be reaction, commentary, review, topic, randomness, owl blueness. Now, Brian sent me a generous donation via PayPal to review Season 1 and Season 2 of Futurama. Now, I did record those, and the second one recorded, but Season 1, that review did record, just to be a little transparent with you guys. So here I am doing it again, and the reason I'm looking at this is I'm just looking at the episode synopsis so I can refresh my mind even more so it's not me just bumbling going, I think this episode is about, that type of thing. But before I did that, Futurama. This debuted in the late 90s. And I think it debuted around the time Simpsons was in its 10th season, 9th season. And I mentioned that just Matt Groening, who created The Simpsons, created this. Because Fox wanted Matt Groening to do another show. Which makes sense. I mean, companies tend to do that, especially Fox. Chris Carter. Hey, you created the X-Files, create something else. So you had Millennium. And then, even with Seth MacFarlane, okay, you have Family Guy. You have, then you do American Dad. To hopefully capture the success and have lightning strike twice. Now, Futurama, I believe I saw the first episode back in the day when it debuted. I don't know why I didn't follow the show after that. I think just because at that time in my life, it's when I did watch TV, I watched only a handful of shows consistently. Otherwise, I was more of a movie watcher than a TV watcher. But watching the Season 1 show of Futurama was very funny. It was entertaining. I liked the characters. You have Fry, Bender, Leela. The lead guy, Fry, Billy West, did a good job voicing it. Billy West is the guy who was Stimpy on Ren and Stimpy. He voiced a lot of other characters. He works for what he needs to do to be the guy, dumb guy from our time who's now in the future. But, I mean, your lead guy, I would say, is probably the less interesting of the trio. I would say Bender, the robot, who he lives on alcohol. He's a complete wise ass. He's definitely, I think, the best character. And Leela, which is Katie Siegel. Katie Siegel. I don't want to say Siegel because I don't want to say Seagal, because when I think of Seagal, I did PTSD from a Steven Seagal marathon I did of his direct-to-video stuff. So I'll just say Katie Siegel for the sake of argument. She was the wife in Married with Children. She's been in other stuff, but that's where I remember the most from. Does a wonderful job voicing the Cyclops. She becomes the captain of this Planet Express, this delivery service, and perhaps a possible future love interest for Fry. But she's tough, she's strong, she's a badass. She's alone because she's the only one looking like a Cyclops. But I really enjoyed her. I enjoyed Bender. I mean, Fry works for what he needs to do. Again, it's just, it's not like The Simpsons where, my favorite character is the lead, Homer Simpson. Which is funny because it used to be Bart Simpson was the lead, and like the first couple, you look at the first 2 or 3 seasons of The Simpsons, Bart was the main character. I mean, merchandise, video games. That's why, like, every video game of the time, Bart Simpson was the star of it. Nintendo, Super Nintendo. Bart's Nightmare, Bart vs. the World, Bart vs. the Space Mutants. Even Bart was Camp Krusty, the Game Boy game. I forget the exact name of that. I know you're at Camp Krusty. But I know it's off tangent, but it's interesting how that's changed from Bart to Homer. And now we always think of Homer Simpson, yeah, he's the star. It's like, well, yeah, at one point it was Bart. So again, Philip J. Fry, like I said, he works for what he needs to be, but like I said, I don't think he's the best character on on his show. But he works. John DiMaggio voices Bender, does a wonderful job. Other characters you have on the show, you have Professor Farnsworth, who is Fry's descendant. He's the guy who hires them to be this delivery service going from planet to planet, which is a good setup because that means you can go to a variety of different worlds, different aliens, different civilizations, and the world is just so much more open. There's a lot less limitations. And that's why I'm watching this season and seeing a lot of these episodes for the first time, just in understanding why it has a fan base, understanding why it has a cult status. Because not only do the characters work together, not only do the voice actors do their jobs well, not only is the animation pretty good, at times they do a bit CG and some of the spaceship shots or some of the special shots they want to make a bit more stick out a bit more. And again, this is the early stages of that. It was nice to look at it, just to see the variety, the creativity of the future setting, taking place in the year 3000, and what are all the different parts of the city, and Fry's trying to understand, like, at one point there's a different type of baseball game, and he's as confused as we, the viewer, are, while to them it's normal. Oh yeah, they do this and this, and then there's multi-ball, like pinball, and you're like, what? And they're like, yeah, it's just normal. Idea to be able to go to all these different various civilizations, there's just a lot more you could do. There's a lot less ability to be redundant, and that's one of the issues with The Simpsons, is because they've been on for so long, and because other than Treehouse of Horror, you're in this one town for the most part, you have this group of people, you know, you're hanging around that town enough. That's why at times they go into a different country or this and that, but there's always so much you can do. It's also with the fact that that show has kids, Bart Simpson and Lisa. I mean, it's funny because we think of, oh, well, we watched the show in '89 or whatever it debuted. So, in your mind, you think the kids are older, but you look and say, no, technically they're still the same age, little kids. And because they're little kid characters, you can't have Bart Simpson going to a strip club. You can't have Lisa Simpson go and smoke a cigar somewhere. You can't do certain things, understandably so. There's only so much edge you could get away with on The Simpsons because of that, which is fine. It makes it, well, granted, I haven't watched The Simpsons in quite a few years, so I don't know if the newer episodes do that. I'm just blowing smoke up my own ass, but I just made The Simpsons I remember, they don't do that, which again is fine because it makes them different from South Park and, you know, other shows. But I'm just saying, because of this, all the characters are adults or, you know, 20, 30 years old, you're able to get away with a little bit more adult humor. I mean, there's one episode where they go into the internet, but it's like a VR internet, and of course most of it is chat rooms, sex chat rooms, and the like. But it also made me wonder, because like I said, I'll get into the details in a minute. This season was rather funny. It was, like I said, creative. It felt fresh. And how do I put it? This is around the time Simpsons was entering its 10th season. And for a lot of people, including me, that seems like around the time where the show started going downhill. And it makes me wonder if the fact that Matt Groening, the creator, who had his hands maybe on Simpsons a bit more, because there's nothing else, now that his attention's on stuff like this, and hey, this is a new show, that show's been on for 10 seasons, you know, now. This show is entering its freshman year, and then sophomore, junior. Let's see, to let this develop more, take a bit more care, a bit more time, a bit more. There are probably like 20 people now running The Simpsons. It's like, okay, well, my name's on it, but I'm going to concentrate on this. I wonder if his absence is more felt than people realize when you look at The Simpsons and you look at either the humor or this kind of lessening of heart. Because even here, I mean, a lot of it is fun and irreverent, but there's little moments of heart where, like Fry and Bender, you get the idea they are friends. You get the idea that, you know, Fry and Leela, maybe they do like each other a bit more than they will admit. Like Leela getting jealous that Fry's going on with this intern Amy, or other stuff going on. Episodes here and there, like there's a Christmas episode where he's going on about how he's alone, but then he's like, oh well, man. And I'm trying to remember if that was season 2 or season 1, the Christmas episode. That might have been season 2. Yeah, that might have been season 2, because that one had John Goodman. Like Bender is on a, like they're on a planet with robots ready to kill humans on sight, and Bender's like, no, I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna abandon my friends. You know, moments that they do see a bit of that. Overall, it's gonna be a comedy show. It's gonna be silly, goofy as well, but from time to time you see a little bit of that heart underneath it. And like I said, I just wonder if, you know, Matt Groening had a lot more fingerprints on the early Simpsons than maybe some people want to give credit. It's like, well, of course he created. Yeah, well, just because you create something doesn't mean when it goes into production, your presence would be more felt, or to be taken away, or all sorts of things that could happen. But getting more into the show specifically, the first episode, it's December 1999, we're getting ready for the year 2000, and he's a pizza delivery boy, Fry. He accidentally stumbles to a cryogenic freezer and ends up in the year New Year's Eve 2999. I liked where he's like, oh my god, 1,000,000 years. I'm like, okay, I do remember that line back in the day. Like, it's sparked a, oh, that's, I did see this back in the day, this one. And there's this career counselor named Leela, tries to assign him an internal career as a delivery boy with his chip. He's like, fuck that, I don't want to do it. Escapes. He thinks he's going to a telephone booth, but it's a suicide booth. So they have suicide booths in the future. And Bender's there, this robot. Fry gets both of them out. And then Bender's like, okay, I guess I'll hang out with you. And they both run away from Leela. And this, a lot of times the humor that either catches me off guard or makes me chuckle is either when someone is taking something very literally, or when something that seems so obvious and then they do something different, or they say something that you didn't quite know that they were going to say. Like when they get to Dr. Zoidberg. Dr. Zoidberg is this doctor who happens to be like a lobster alien creature. Open your, don't open that mouth, open your other mouth. I only have one mouth. And Dr. Zoidberg's like, really? Only one, you do? Little off-the-cuff remarks like that. I don't know why. That's a problem with reviewing comedies. I'll do it, but it's just, how do you explain why something's funny if different things tickle different funny bones in ways that are unique to you? Sense of humor-wise, timing-wise, delivery-wise, what have you. Like, I like the bit in this where Fry gets Bender to bend some steel, and he's really excited. Then there's another one on the ground, and Bender's like, well, guess I'm going to have to... And then Fry just lifts it up and goes down, and Bender's like, because he wanted to bend it. So he closes the latch, but then he comes up and bends the steel anyway, and laughs and leaves. But ultimately, they convince Leela, like, listen, you don't have to do this. And they escape. They go to Professor Farnsworth, and he goes, well, I got a job for you guys. You'd be the crew of this delivery service called Planet Express. And while Fry was disappointed being a delivery boy, the fact that he's going to be a spaceship, intergalactic delivery service, then he's excited. Which I can't really blame him. Because there's so many different worlds and civilizations and things you get to find out. And that's what I mean, like, there's a lot less room to be feeling like you're doing the same thing over and over again. Which, like I said, is one of the issues with The Simpsons. Episode 2, they go to the moon. There's an amusement park on the moon. Fry's really gung-ho about it, and it takes like 5 seconds to get there with the ship. And people is like, yeah, we're delivering something here, and people go here for this amusement park. And then Fry's like really disappointed in it until he's like, but I want to go out there, because he wants to do like the astronauts did. And Leela's like, okay, fine, we'll do it. So they go out there. Things go wrong. They meet a farmer. And that's what I mean by creativity. Like, the farmer, it's a human who has his ranch on the moon, and he has 3 robot hillbilly daughters. Okay, Pa. And of the 3 daughters, one of them fucking gigantic, I don't know what you call it. Like, the other 2 robots kind of look female, and the other looks like ready to be a cousin of a jumbo jet. But, like, you have animals, like, the farmer has animals, like, it's a cow, but it's also a bug. So imagine a giant bug, but it has the color, look of a cow, of black and white. But that's what I mean, you also get a little bit of heart. Like, Leela just doesn't understand his obsession with this, and Fry's like, well, when I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut. And one joke I liked is they do find the lunar from 1969, and the flag, and Fry's like, oh look, that's the flag from MTV. So I mean, especially I was talking about Fry, he does have some pretty fun lines. I think that's where he works in his stupidity. I just mean I think the other characters overshadow him, but I didn't. He does have fun lines like that. And Bender was messing around with one of the robots, and then they have to escape. And there's some nice bits of animation, like the dark side of the moon, like the shadow of the moon is overcasing them as they're running, and they're barely being chased at by the shadow because it's so cold, so they want to outrun it. And they barely make it out and escape. So I did enjoy that episode. I enjoyed the first 2 episodes. Episode 3, he's living in the Planet Express building until he's kicked out for his messiness. Yeah, that's another fun joke where him and Bender, they're on the couch, and then they're watching TV, and they go, why is the TV getting smaller? And it cuts to they're being dragged out on the couch, and then they go to like these different possibilities for rooms, and one's underwater, and one is crusty, and one is in New Jersey, and they say no to that. And then Bender's like, well, I got my room, and it's like a little closet. And that's what I mean, is that as much as there's a reverent and wise-assness, there are moments a little heart to it. Like when they do find an apartment and Bender's antennas mess with the TV and Fry tits Bender out, and Bender, for his being an ass, feels bad and he misses his friend. And then Leela's talking shit to Fry, go, what the hell are you doing? Look what you're doing, look what you did to your friend. And then at the end, they do the apology thing, but they did it reverse. So Bender's the one apologizing, and Fry's the one, oh, it's okay. And Leela's like, wait a minute, what are you doing? You did it in reverse. And they don't get it, so it's like, oh, whatever. So I thought that was a nice, witty, like, twist on that. That, okay, it has to be apology, you're forgiven, but they fucked up and they reversed it. And then you find out that in Bender's apartment, his room, there's a closet, and the closet is this big, expansive space. So, the whole time, I'll just live in here. And Bender's like, live in the closet? You humans are weird. And yeah, Bender's version of a closet is this expansive fucking room. So yeah, I didn't really have a lot of issues with this season. Episode 4, they go on a mission to rescue animals on Vergon 6, a planet on the verge of collapse. On the way, they meet Zap Brannigan, who Leela has the hots for, but then realizes what kind of guy he is. Zap Brannigan is pretty much a take on William Shatner on Star Trek. Doesn't do the voice, like the pauses, but, you know, the hello there, being the commander and wanting to have sex with different aliens. Which, that wasn't Kirk, but I mean, like, when people think of Kirk, they think of that. And I do like his subordinate, is Tiff, I believe his name, the alien, which has this demeanor of just being so tired, sick and tired of this fucking guy and what he's doing and what he's saying and what he has to go through time and time again. It's like, I gotta go through this shit again. And again and again. He just so much of a defeated look on his face. And I think because that alien character is played subtle, and just the way they express his reactions, are just right there you get the idea just how much of that have to deal with this idiot Zap. And then when they are collecting creatures, they find a creature named Nibbler, which they find out too late that it devoured all the other animals that they were trying to save. And then this Nibbler, this little creature, it can actually create pellets of dark matter that gives them jet fuel, spaceship fuel, to be able to escape. And that's a creature you'll see pop up from time to time. This creature named Nibbler. I'd probably say I like the other episodes a bit more than this. I mean, Zap Brannigan is kind of funny, but at the same time, I've seen other shows try to do their kind of take on Captain Kirk. And, you know, I liked his subordinate more than him, but he was fine. If he was alive, I mean, this seemed like a role that would have been great for Phil Hartman. May he rest in peace. One of my favorite episodes is Part 5, Fear of the Bot Planet, where they have to deliver to a planet inhabited entirely by human-hating robots who kill humans on sight. Bender's supposed to deliver the package alone, but is captured, so Fry and Leela, they disguise themselves as robots. And the way they showcase the robot society, like they're trying to build something, but it's with Tetris. And like, wait, don't connect that yet. And it does, and like Tetris, it disappears. So the wall they were building disappears. Or the two of them go into a movie that the robots are watching. The robots are watching a 50s, their version of a 50s sci-fi film. But instead of teenagers making out and a killer robot, it's robots making out and a killer human. And the way they have it is that it is a robot, but with their makeup effects, they put like a human masked face on it and try to pretend they're human. It's just interesting to see that sort of 180 twist on it. And it sounds stupid, but I think another appealing part of the show is I'm a sucker for aliens and robots. You know, growing up into science fiction, getting into science fiction shows and movies, and growing with movies dealing with killer robots, whether it be Runaway or The Terminator or Death Machine or various other stuff. Robots are just cool. Robots are cool. There's a lot of robots in this, so just kind of a simple, cool factor to it. And you find out that the planet's government is merely using humans as a scapegoat to distract the population from a valuable lug nut shortage. They escape, but then the package were that very same thing, so the robots are happy now. That was pretty, I thought, clever. Very clever episode. A lot of fun bits here and there that I don't want to give everything away for those who haven't seen it. I would say, if you're trying to get in the Futurama, I would say watch 3 episodes. Watch the very first one. Watch episode 5, Fear of a Bot Planet. And I would say also watch, let me see, maybe Hell is Other Robots or Flight to Remember. Episode 9 or episode 10. Hell is Other Robots is Bender. He gets addicted to electricity and he sees like this LSD looking type of thing. And now he's so adamant on getting electricity that even while they're in space, he tries to get them into an electrical storm in order to enjoy it. I think he's confronted with that. And he's like, oh, okay, I'll go the straight and narrow path, and then finds religion with his robot religion, and he goes the other way, but the crew's annoyed by it, so then they try to, hey, look at these girls, look at this and that. You got some alcohol. So they get him back on that path, but then the people that try to give into religion, he's sent to Robot Hell, but it's like this amusement park, and so Fry and Leela have to help him get out of this. And there's like a part at the end where Bender's able to get the two and fly out, and because of this thing going on, it looks like a halo, and he made these wings, so it looks like an angel taking these two out of hell. It was like a cool visual element they incorporated into it. And like I said, I'm talking about Robot Hell and a robot getting addicted to electricity, and you know, friends wanting to help each other. You know, it's a good trio of characters. Like I said, I appreciate that creativity. I think a lot of people did too. The other episodes, you have Fry finding out he's rich because he checks his bank, and it's been 1,000 years, so he has a lot of money into it now. So he's buying a bunch of shit from back in the day, and he's really adamant to find anchovies because he likes anchovy pizza, so that's definitely one thing I don't agree with him on, because fuck anchovies. They're gross as shit. Gross as shit in my opinion. And when they do try, the other people feel the same way. I'm like, yep, exactly. But before that, he finds the last unopened can of anchovies, which have gone extinct. And then you have this character named Mom, a famous industrialist and oil tycoon, feels threatened that the anchovies oil could be used to put her out of business. So sends her sons to steal Fry's PIN number. He gets all his money stolen, everything's taken except the anchovies. But then realizes that Fry is so stupid, he just wants to eat them. He doesn't know that the oil will do this and that for robots and all that, so okay, fine. You go ahead. You eat it. The mom character, cool. dichotomy of, this nice, lovely mom, public figure, but behind the scenes she's drinking, she's smoking, she's a total asshole. Also, Pamela Anderson. Oh, that's one thing I forgot. You have the jar of heads throughout this show. And early on, you have, God, I forget which episode, Leonard Nimoy. Rest in peace, Leonard Nimoy. And Fry's like, do the finger thing, do the finger thing. Well, I can't really do that, because, I'm like, yeah, because he's a head in a jar. But yeah, people could live on as heads in jars, and that's definitely a thing that goes throughout the whole show. Some people don't like that gimmick. I do. I think it's pretty cool. Plus, that's a way to have celebrities, but like, wait a minute, it's the year 3000. Oh, well, this is how you can have celebrities even in the year 3000. So I thought it was actually a smart decision. So Leonard Nimoy was able to be there. In Season 2, Pauly Shore's in an episode. In this episode, I'm talking about Pamela Anderson. And that apparently after 1999, in this universe, Pam became a serious actress and won an Oscar. I'm like, that's the most sci-fi part of the show. Because Mom hires her to try to get Fry to tell her some information or to steal all the shit from his ATM. Let's see. And so that was an interesting episode. Another one I enjoyed is such a weird idea. They make a delivery on this desolate place, hot as hell. There's like 3 blazing suns. Gets to this place. There's a bottle of water, so he drinks it, and then comes to find out that that was the Emperor. Because the people there are made of water. And then because he drank it, he's the new Emperor. And Leela is trying to warn him, going, well, wait a minute, there's something about this. And they're trying to kill him, but then the Emperor's still alive inside him, and then Fry's trying to get him out. And so, because Fry pissed her off before, she's like, okay, I'll help you. And starts beating him up to make him cry, to cry the damn Emperor out. So if you think Fry's an asshole, she gets to beat the shit out of him, and he tries it out as... people are like, why don't he just pee? Or, well, he does. That does come up in conversation. But I wonder behind the scenes. I mean, they mention why they don't do it, but I wonder behind the scenes. They're like, well, I just really. I mean, it'd probably just be funnier to, yeah, just have to get beaten up and weep in pain until the Emperor's out of his body. It's just a crazy idea that you have the Emperor made of water and you accidentally drink the Emperor and then you gotta get him out of your body. It's not an idea that would have been the first, third, or fifth portion that come out of someone's head, but maybe that's also part of the fun of the show, is to wonder what is going to happen next. What weird, crazy mission or detail is going to be incorporated into it. Episode 8 that deals with pretty much this big piece of garbage is coming to Earth, and the professor has to find a way to stop it. So he launches with Fry, Leela, and Bender pretty much the Armageddon plot. Go there, put it in, blow it up, put a bomb in there. But the professor fucked up in the timer. He installed it wrong. He installed it upside down, so you think it's going to be this much time, but you think of like the numbers reversed, so it's a lot shorter. And so then Fry has the idea of, well, no one makes garbage now. We make another pile of garbage to stop that garbage. And then it does, and it bounces the other. And then Leela's like, well, what about that garbage after 1,000 years? Oh, who cares? We're not going to be here. Which, I mean, that is a real sentiment. That is a real big sentiment that is sad but true. Like I said, the electrical one has other robots. That was and then the Flight to Remember, they go on to a luxury cruise, the largest spaceship ever built, which is called the Titanic. So you have Bender and this robot doing a Titanic, parody. He's going to steal from her, but then he actually does like her, so he doesn't. Meanwhile, Amy, the intern, and Leela, there's two groups of people that they try to make Fry their boyfriend so that Amy's parents doesn't bug her, so that this captain, the Zap guy, Brandon, he's in this, doesn't bug Leela. So then Fry has to pretend to be each other's boyfriend. That's why you see a little bit of jealousy from Leela. That's why you get a little inclination that Leela may like Fry more than she wants to admit. Which is a nice little heartfelt detail. But I mean, just the fact that, okay, we're going to do a Titanic, but we're going to do like a parody of it. Because it was right for parody, just how much that fucking movie was just could not be shut up about during that time. I mean, Titanic came in '97. This was around '99. They were probably starting to make it maybe early '99, maybe even '98. Who knows? I don't know how long the process was, but people just would not shut up about it. Thankfully, you don't really hear about Titanic much nowadays. And there's other episodes. I mean, there's one where Fry has to attend a Mars university, and then there's his roommate, which is a monkey made intelligent by the professor. That, I thought, was probably the episodes I saw, that was the weakest one for me. I get what they're trying to do. You have this monkey who's intelligent, but then he's embarrassed by his parents, who are more feral. And then this idea of, well, which does he want to be smart? Does he want to be not smart? I just didn't give a fuck about this monkey character. I just did not give a fuck about it at all. The part that was interesting was Bender is with this group of other robots who are in a fraternity, and that becomes kind of a parody of Animal House. Like, that was the more interesting part of that episode, because it's trying to do those tropes of those. I was ready for, and this is an Animal House, but I think one thing they should have done is take a song from one of the offshoots of Animal House. If they put Up the Creek, I'm up the creek, I'm up the creek, which again, I know what makes sense is to try to be more like Animal House, but I did just, technically it would be a song from Animal House they would do. Because even at the end, I think they do like the still shots of text of like what they did afterward. And I think even the dean, his last name is Vernon, which I'm sure is a tip of the hat to John Vernon, who was the bad guy in Animal House. Like, they go to a panty raid and they see all these sexy human women, but the thing that gets to their eye is the desktop computer. And when it's opened up to be fixed, Bender's like, oh, that's a bad girl. That's what I mean by the off-kilter humor in the show. And like like that was the more fun part of the episode, not the other stuff. I'm trying to think, was it this one or was it a different one? See, now I'm trying to think, am I getting that mixed up with another episode? Which shows how much I remember of this episode. Because I'm trying to think, was that another episode in season 2? Because like, okay, it's university. God, if I'm messed up, I apologize. But okay, that shows how little of a shit I gave of that episode. That it didn't really enter my brain as much as the other episodes. So that shows how little fucks I gave about. But I guess it is just like Fry, Leela, Farnsworth. They're doing with that. So Bender needs something to do. So he would have been doing that stuff. Yeah, that's true because it is because I remember they're actually on a creek. That's why I'm like, just have the song up their creek, and they win and they piss off the dean. And by doing that, that's also when Fry and Leela are looking for this monkey out in the, also near the creek. So it is this episode. But you have like the nerdy robots and one who, when he gets nervous, he eats stuff, and I'm like, I wish the whole episode was just about that character and just be a full parody of Animal House. And just he drags Fry around. And he makes Fry one of the guys along with the nerds. I'm not a robot. Well, good enough. And it's Bender taking Fry and force him into this fraternity as he's teaching these other kids and going through all these different things. And, you know, the difference between human and robot. Like, I think there's a lot more that would have been done with that story, not with this stupid monkey thing. I didn't just have Bender pull Fry into this robot Animal House parody and have the full episode just be about that. And just have it be that for its 20 minutes. I think that would have been funnier. I think that would have been more satisfying. But was it Gunther, the monkey, and he's smart because of this hat. I didn't give a fuck about that. So I would say, because of that section, that's my least favorite episode. But yet the Bender stuff was decent. And there's a few other episodes, but again, Mars University, that would be the weakest one. My favorite would be the Fear of a Bot Planet, where they go to the robot planet. I would say that's my favorite episode of this season. But like I said, the music works for what the production entails. The theme song is... I like the beat of the theme song. I don't know. I think initially Fox had it on for 4 seasons, like over 70 episodes, and then they're like, nope, you're done. And then a few other channels, including Comedy Central, had it, and then they was done. I think now it's coming back again. And then John DiMaggio was not going to come back as Bender, but now he is going to come back as Bender. I don't know the whole details of that. I'm pretty much a noob. I don't know if... Had they previously filmed like a series finale? And if so, I'd be curious. I'm fine with spoilers. If there was anything with Fry and Leela or with Bender, like anything of note of the series finale. I mean, if they're making a new one, it's going to be... It's not going to matter, but I'm just curious about that. Which maybe that helps it out a bit. It being cancelled and then coming back again. Because it's the old phrase, how can I miss you if you can't go away? How can I miss you if you don't go away? If you're never away, there's no way to miss you. You know, that type of mentality. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.